Irish Warlock here, and welcome to part 3 of our Star Trek Resurgence Let's Play. We'll be picking things up in just a moment after we give a quick summary of what's happened. So, in the last episode, Carter along with Petty Officer Neil were outside on the hull conducting some maintenance when a strange spatial anomaly storm came in. As Jar, we were forced to make a few quick decisions, defying the captain's orders, but thankfully saving the crew performing the maintenance. This has put us in bad standing with the captain, but in positive standing with the rest of the crew, which is probably for the best. As Carter, we've also started a romance with a fellow petty officer, and as Jar, we had a little bit of a health scare due to her species needing essentially a supplement to survive, and our essentially reserves going low. So we're going to pick things up where we left off, where we're en route to the Hotari system to perform a peacekeeping mission and to pick up a diplomat. Hopefully we'll get to meet that diplomat on the way. And judging by that picture, yeah, we're going to pick up that diplomat very soon. Bit of a spoiler there, game, but you know what, we knew he was coming.
Approaching the rendezvous point outside Hotari space.
Helm, bring us out of warp.
Dropping to impulse.
Ionic interference surging, Captain.
Ooh.
Shield integrity holding. We can take it.
We are at the correct coordinates to meet the shuttle.
Commander Rydek, find us our diplomat, if you will.
Aye, Captain. Let's reduce the noise. Filter out environmental signals. I can manually tune what's left for Federation signal types.
Okay, so let's see.
I've located the shuttle.
Opening comms.
On screen.
Ooh.
Shuttle to Resolute. Shuttle to Resolute. Debris field. Lost maneuvering. Losing.
I can't get it any clearer. We won't get a transporter lock. It's just not happening.
Power up the tractor beam. We'll pull them directly into the docking bay.
Oh, it's this guy again. I forget his name, but...
Diaz, you good to run the tractor emitter?
Yes, sir.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Come on, Diaz. First thing, lock onto the shuttle and stabilize the rotation.
Okay. Okay. Controls weren't doing anything there for a second.
We're pulling in debris.
I'm on it.
Whew, that was a bit too close.
That's gonna take out the shuttle. Diaz, the bridge. There's a large piece of debris headed for the shuttle. The tractor beam can't handle it.
Can our shields take it?
I believe so.
Commander Rydek, plot an intercept course.
On it. Here we go. Maneuvering thrusters bearing 53 Mark 17, 200 meters on an intercept course.
Maneuvering.
Got it.
Whoa! Someone's working hard on the bridge. The shuttlecraft on board.
Good job. We're on our way down to meet them.
Terra firma, so to speak.
Ambassador Spock.
Da, 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 da.
The captain will be right down to meet you, sir.
In that case, I will wait for him here.
Apologies for the landing, Ambassador. I was operating the tractor beam, sir. I take responsibility.
Our arrival was the smoothest part of our journey. Your artistry with a tractor beam is commendable. We thought we were prepared for our arrival in Hotari space, but it is evident my craft was not sufficiently robust for such intense ionic activity.
The storm has been pretty intense.
There was an element that was most unusual. Before you came to our aid, our maneuvering thrusters and impulse engines were rendered inoperable. So we attempted a short traversal at warp speed, only to find that we could not achieve warp at all, even though our diagnostics computer showed no faults or anomalies. What do you make of that?
Very
All
strange.
indications say that warp speed is possible, but in practice, we find it is not.
Probably the storm.
Well, this storm is one of the strangest phenomena we've ever encountered. It's disrupted other systems. Who knows what it might do to a warp drive?
Yes, it would seem further investigation is called for.
Take readings, run some additional diagnostic checks, and we'll get to the bottom of this.
Quite logical, Petty Officer.
Carter Diaz. Sir.
Thank you.
I really like Carter. He's
Ambassador
so
Spock.
cool.
Excuse me.
I'm honored to have you aboard. I'd like to get right to it. We're already behind. Ambassador Spock, my senior staff. It's not every day that a captain gets to welcome a Starfleet legend aboard.
You flatter me, Captain Solano. But legend implies the past tense, whereas I am very much focused on our present circumstances.
I didn't mean to suggest you were stuck in the past. You're right, Ambassador. Not the most diplomatic choice of words.
We need your experience.
Your experience comes from the past. But our present situation calls for it.
True enough.
We were hoping you could fill us in on the details. We got the basics from Starfleet. Two formerly peaceful neighbors are now on the brink of war.
Indeed. and the tension between them grows fiercer by the hour. Lydia and Hotari. The Lydians are the more advanced species. They made first contact with the Hotari over a century ago. This is Tau, the Hotari moon. It is rich in dilithium, and for decades, the Hotari and the Lydians have shared a mining operation there. The Lydians provide the technological resources, while the Hotari have served as the labor force. The stability of that arrangement was the source of their peace, until recently. The Hotari have suddenly and forcefully seized control of the mining operations and expelled the Lydians from their system. That is the official story, as told by the Hotari when they requested Federation mediation. But the details remain scant. Communications between all parties have been limited by the ionic interference.
Have the Eldians retaliated? Can the Hotari hold the mines? How did this happen?
How is it the Hotari were able to turn the tables and take the mines against superior forces, especially after decades in this arrangement?
Unclear. The answer to that question may be the key to a new, lasting peace, and one that I hope we can uncover during these negotiations. But it is unlikely the relatively primitive Hotari forces would stand a chance against the Lydian fleet if this escalates to open war. Left unchecked, this conflict will result in more bloodshed, which is what we are here to prevent.
And the dilithium trade hangs in the balance.
Clearly, the Hotari have been exploited in this relationship.
Maybe we can persuade them peace is the more profitable alternative for everyone. They both profited from the mines. And for the Hotari, something is better than nothing. Peace is our objective, after all.
I agree with Solano. They'd
That
still
is
be
correct.
exploited. They don't want people. Yeah, they'd still be exploited.
We can call it profitable or mutually beneficial, but at the end of the day, the Hotari are still being exploited for their own resources.
True peace is not merely the absence of war. And as such, this conflict will surely come again.
Neither the Lydians or the Hotari are members of the Federation, so we can't make them do anything.
There is an additional complicating factor I should mention. In the past, the Federation has relied on the Lydians as a source of dilithium.
That certainly changes things.
Federation sources its dilithium from a lot of places.
Yeah, and this is one of them.
We won't be trusted.
That means the Hotari have no reason to trust us.
I wouldn't go that far, Commander.
We are completely neutral in this matter, on neither one side nor the other. Any suggestion otherwise would compromise our position. Given the Federation's involvement in the Iridium dilithium trade, Captain Solano and I must make every effort to appear neutral in these negotiations.
What worries me is if this whole thing unravels, and we're at the mercy of the storm at less than full strength.
We can't let it come to that.
Considering what the Ion Storm has done to our ship, and the Ambassador's shuttle, we have to assume the Elydian fleet has had problems with it as well. This recent surge in the energy disturbance temporarily levels the playing field.
Commander Westbrook is correct. The energy anomalies around the Hotari systems have been noted in the past. But they have never been observed on the orders of magnitude we have seen in recent weeks.
They won't dare attack us, despise us in time. It's a perfect storm.
That may answer why the Hotari were able to strike back after so long. They finally had an opportunity, and they took it.
That would also explain the Elydians' restraint.
And reason to learn as much about the energy anomaly as we can while we are here. We do not want to be caught at a disadvantage of our own. So I trust we understand our circumstances.
We're operating on a strict timetable here, and we're going to be leaving for the negotiations shortly. Commander Westbrook, I want you to leverage our systems to investigate the anomaly from here while we're gone.
Aye, Captain.
Thank you all.
Dismissed.
I want to speak to both of you privately.
Ambassador Spock, I'd like to make a formal introduction. My first officer, Commander Jara Rydek.
Commander, as you are aware, there are limits to what Captain Solano and I can do in our official capacity as representatives of the Federation. But someone in an unofficial capacity, your first officer, Commander Rydek could ingratiate herself to certain parties behind the scenes, where they may be more candid in revealing information that could lead to a resolution.
She certainly goes her own way.
I'm
That helps in this case.
not a diplomat. I'd be honored, whatever it takes.
But I'm not opposed to it.
I'd be honored.
I'm honored to be included in the negotiation process.
You're not just included, you are instrumental.
Well, I hope Commander Rydek will have more luck finding out what really happened than we will through official diplomatic channels.
The fate of the negotiations, the interests of the Federation, and the prospect for peace may very well depend on it.
Mr. Diaz, I understand you have already discussed the warp drive failure with Ambassador Spock?
I have.
It is imperative that the Ambassador's shuttle be flight ready. I need you both to ascertain the root cause of the system failures he encountered.
I'm surprised, Commander. I thought you would have wanted to work on Ambassador Spock's shuttle yourself.
I respect the Ambassador and his many accomplishments, but I do not derive any satisfaction from interacting with his shuttle as if it were somehow transubstantiated through its association with him. Especially when I have the entirety of this starship to concern myself with. I am not the chief engineer of this shuttle.
It's just a normal shuttle.
When you look at it logically, yes, it is just a shuttle. No different than any of the others.
There is plenty that is different about it, and that is what you are to investigate. But please limit your findings to observable scientific phenomena.
We'll try to restrain ourselves.
Then I will leave you to it. Make note of any abnormalities in your report. Carry on.
It seems like he's warming up to us.
Yeah.
Even Chovok has to look at that face and know you've earned some real respect. And I have to admit that I owe you one. You were right to make me go first. I don't know what I was thinking.
You don't know me.
You did the smart thing.
You've pulled me out of trouble how many times? Call it even.
Okay. At the very least, maybe I can track down that bottle of Saurian brandy you're still on the hook for. But first, we have work to do.
Ready to go?
All set. Let's run the diagnostic.
Alright, begin diagnostic. I will say just before we go on, like some of the minigames really aren't that great. Like they're basically, like there's no risk to them, if that makes sense. It is just like with that tractor beam one to bring in the shuttle, it was just like tap this button, tap that button. You couldn't really make the wrong choice other than probably the asteroids hitting it.
So, I know about your talk with Miranda.
You do?
She sent me a Priority 1 dispatch right after your conversation. I'm happy for you. Both of you.
Are you?
Thanks.
But I'm only going to tell you this once. Don't screw this up. Because I would be very unhappy if you tried this out and then, I don't know, 6 weeks or 6 days later, I have to start splitting holidays between the two of you. All because things went south and you're not on speaking terms. That just isn't gonna work for me.
Have some faith.
And I know you'll respect that.
You really don't believe in me, huh?
It's not you. Or her. Just running the numbers, and things don't work out more often than they do. I like my friends and I like our group. I don't want to lose that. Is that thing done yet?
Yeah, it's wrapping up. Let's see. The relays along the primary EPS are blown. The backup relays are all intact.
An EPS overload from the warp drive could cause that. But how did the shuttle end up dead in the water?
Huh. Well, maybe the ship's data recorder can tell us something.
Let's see.
Here.
They were only about 8 minutes from their plotted warp point. No faults, just those warnings. What are they?
Subspace variance out of tolerance. What does that mean?
It means the main navigation array lost sight of space somehow.
Will the array going offline cause that?
Yes, but it should have also thrown a fault code.
No, can't tap anything there. So this one is?
There was a complete warp cascade failure.
Wow. They're lucky the shuttle didn't turn inside out.
Makes me think the computer panicked on the warp field equation. The warp field became inverted suddenly.
I've seen this happen when the center warp coil cracks.
A cracked warp coil throws a fault code.
Still, we should take a look. Any one of these failures should have thrown a fault.
If it was caused by a system failure.
None of this caused the relays to blow. Roll forward to when that happened.
Yes, ma'am.
So here, they take a moment to get their bearings and they attempt to re-engage the warp drive.
There. That's the relays blowing.
And look, there's another warp system alert.
They're all the same. Subspace variance out of tolerance, or warp inversions. Finally, there's a complete warp cascade failure.
Then it's one of two things. Either a warp coil is cracked, or the navigation array is offline.
That makes sense.
Divide and conquer. You want to check the warp coils or the navigation array? I'll check the other. Let's not overcomplicate this. One of these systems is likely broken.
I'll check the warp coils. Probably isn't going to make much of a difference.
I'll check the nacelles for a cracked coil.
Hopefully. Okay, tricorder. Your tricorder can record and analyze data. Looking through it will reveal the unseen. Use square to equip it and holster your tricorder. Hold R2 to scan glowing objects. You must be close to some objects to scan them. Watch the frame of the screen to see if you are too far away. Cool. Why are you glowing? Beep, 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 beep. Okay, let's be serious. Ah, okay, actually properly glowing. Some objects you scan will activate a deep scan. During a deep scan, use L1 and R1 to switch between different scan modes and search for glowing objects. The mode indicators on the tricorder will blink if there is an object to find in that mode. When you scan all objects, the frame will change color. Hold L2 to analyze the data and finish the scan. In their standby state, warp coils produce a residual electromagnetic field. No deviations detected. Yeah, there we go. The central coils guide the warp field through its focal event, maintaining a, whatever that word is, thrust vector. No fractures detected. The leading cause show evidence of routine maintenance to repair microabrasion from neutrino interactions. They've really gotten the techno babble down on this. Like, I'm pretty sure I've heard all of these words from like Scotty or Geordie or O'Brien. Like, it very much feels like they just went through the script for Star Trek and just episodes. It very much feels like they went through the script of Star Trek episodes and were just like, yeah, that, and that. Which is, I think, is good. Like, it shows their commitment to the world and lore, which this game definitely has.
I checked every coil on the port nacelle for imbalances. If any coil in either engine were cracked, I would have detected it. So, it must be the navigation array.
Except it's not. Checked and double-checked.
Well, the readings don't lie.
Here comes the security detail for the way team.
Hey.
I'm not here.
We're escorting the negotiating team to the surface as soon as they come down from the bridge. I don't want to interrupt some important work. I was just hoping to see you before I go. The captain and the others will be here any minute now. Should be an interesting ride down to the surface.
We gotta look busy for the boss.
Well, we can't let the brass catch us slacking on the job. Just play along. This is a Mark IV outboard diagnostic panel used for troubleshooting shuttles and other medium-sized transport vehicles. Some people prefer the Mark V because it's one better, but the Mark IV is still one better than the Mark III.
That all sounds very technical.
Hey, Maris. Aren't these those button pushers you're always hanging out with?
And you're the phaser jockeys we always beat in Parisi squares, right?
All aboard for Hotari.
That another one of the captain's railroad things?
Gotta be. I just usually zone out by the time he gets to the whole, steam engines were the warp drives of their day part. Catch y'all later.
I like that we're seeing the lower decks elements of the ship. Like,
You don't want to miss your train.
other than lower decks, the show, you don't really see this aspect of a crew. And even in lower decks is all ensigns, it's not petty officers. So they're kind of really overlooked.
I'd rather not leave right now.
Yeah,
More important
go on,
things
let's try things. Yeah, that looked real.
That was nice.
Yeah, it was.
Save some of that for when I get back.
Probably would have been better not to rotate the camera, just keep it in spot and be like, yeah, it looked more believable right until you decided to do a rotate.
Be seeing you.
Lower deck stallions, Jesus.
Etzelar Diaz. If you could float back down to reality, we still have a ways to go. All right, where were we?
So, the warp coils in the navigation array are fine, but the nav computer doesn't seem to think so.
I'm out of ideas short of field stripping the shuttle from bow to stern.
You wanna take this out of the shuttle and throw it on the bench?
Oh, real hands-on maintenance. I like it. Okay, the nav computer is patched into the ship.
The ship's computer can double-check our work. If the shuttle's nav computer is putting out false data, we'll know it.
Let's run through the shuttle's logs again.
Running now. Same. Warp field inversion and a cascade failure. However, the Resolute computer doesn't show the same subspace variance.
We're in the same conditions that the shuttle was in when it failed. Why wouldn't the ship's computer get a matching result?
What if the subspace variance was a momentary occurrence?
That's a possibility, and it would explain why the simulation under our current sensor readings failed to reproduce the issue.
But a subspace anomaly strong enough to cause a warp field collapse would leave graviton ripples for days.
Let's run with the momentary subspace variance theory for now. Roll forward to the shuttle's attempt to re-engage the warp drive. We need the conditions of space around the shuttle at the moment of warp failure.
Resuming simulation.
Error in warp field calculation. Cochrane formula variables are out of range.
That right there. Take the shuttle sensor data from that moment.
Computer, why did the warp field calculation fail?
Warp field pressure returned non-orthogonal. Results are undefined.
That doesn't help.
Wait, what if we use a different ship?
Put the Resolute into the simulation instead of the shuttle.
Yeah, it should warp just fine. Unless... Computer, run the simulation with the Resolute.
Resolute simulated.
Computer, give me manual control on the warp power.
Static field intensity, warp 1.1. 1.2. 1.3. Warp pressure is destabilized. Error in warp field calculation. The warp drive has experienced a system-wide cascade failure. Warp field collapsed. Subspace variance is out of tolerance. Cochrane formula results are undefined.
Bingo.
What-o?
The same moment when the shuttle failed to warp, so did the ship. Whatever happened to the shuttle just happened to us. The Resolute will not sustain warp.
We can't leave Hotari space.
Dun dun dun. Okay, everyone, I think this is the best point to leave things off. Looks like it's going to get into some very important story stuff, and I don't want to have to, leave it on a cliffhanger, or more than a cliffhanger that I'm leaving it on now later on. So, yeah, we'll just take a quick look at the characters. I don't think anything changed for any of these characters, except obviously for Spock. So let's take a look at Spock for Jara. Ambassador Spock noticed Jara's keen intellect and unique insight into the dynamics of the Hotari-Elidian conflict during the mission briefing. Ambassador Spock also noted Jara's humility when presented with her back-channel mission. So, Spock likes us. And yeah, nothing else changed here. A lot changed for Carter, I imagine. Yeah. Ed Solera was reminded how much she values her friendship with Carter when he said she doesn't owe him anything for letting her go first on the hull. Okay. Miranda won't soon forget her romantic kiss with Carter when they were saying goodbye in the docking bay. And Lieutenant Commander Chobok agreed with Carter's purely logical approach to working on the Ambassador Spock's shuttle. So yeah, it seems that everyone in Carter's group likes Carter, which is good. It's kind of what I'm going for. With Jara, it seems also everyone likes Jara except for the captain, which honestly, yeah, I've kind of said I don't trust the captain. So, I mean, even that picture looks very untrustworthy. Or is that picture like that only because he doesn't trust me? If he trusted me, would it be a lot happier? Yeah, we'll see as the game progresses. But I hope you liked this video. If you did, do leave a like and a comment. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on when the next part will be coming out. And I'll see you all next time.